Hi, this is Kelly with Sewful Creation, and today's tutorial is on the Destiny Bag by Really Creative by Rosemary. The Destiny Bag is a fun bag to make. I love the design of it. It has these great grab and go handles. On the front is a slip pocket that easily holds my large cell phone. It just slides right in with no problem. It closes with a simple magnetic snap. Okay, I love the detail on the side with these little corners. I call them like envelope style. I really don't know what to call them, but that's what I call them. These D-rings serve a function because that's where you're going to attach your crossbody strap. But they also add a little bling to the bag as well. What I didn't do is, but it is included in the pattern, there's a template to add some rivet detail down here at this part at the bottom on the front and the back. So you can do that as well if you want to add more bling. Now I chose to make my handles 1 inch and my strap as well, but the pattern, it does have 3/4 inch handles and strap. So but I was able to adjust that for the hardware I had on hand. So if you're like me and buy more 1 inch hardware than 3/4 inch hardware, you can do that. So I love that it's so versatile in that way. So inside you have a zipper pocket with overlay, and I love the design of that overlay. It's really cool. And then on the other side is a slip pocket. So as you can see, the bag, it's pretty deep, so you can put a full-size wallet in there. You can carry everything that you need to carry for the day. And again, like I said, I love that you can just take it and you can carry it by the handle, put it on the crook of your arm. And so it's really cute, and it's domestic machine friendly. The interfacings are kept out of the seam allowance. It doesn't have a lot of bulky areas, so it's not too hard to sew. It is a drop-in as well, so it's just you don't have to worry about birthing it, and and it just makes it a lot easier to sew. So anyway, without further ado, join me in making the Destiny Bag by Really Creative by Rosemary. The pattern link will be in the description. So let's start making our Destiny Bag by Really Creative by Rosemary. So before we get into the beginning of the bag, I wanted to go over this strap method that she has. So it's a method to not have any raw ends on your crossbody strap. So you have this template, and you take your strap, and then you're going to lay the template down and match it up to the ends of your strap. And then you're going to trace the line on these little cutouts here. And so you'll have that on each side. And then you're going to draw a line half an inch up from the end. And then you would just trim out this section here. So it's tapering the end of the strap. So you trim that out. And then on this end, I have some double-sided tape right below that line. So you can use glue or you can use double-sided tape. And then you would fold the raw edge up to that line. So let me just remove the backing to the double-sided tape, if it will come off. Okay, and then we're going to fold the raw edge up. Okay, just like that. And then we would have a center line here. I didn't mark the center line because this is not my full strap, because I'm not doing a 3/4 inch strap. I'm doing a 1 inch strap, and I can still use this method on my 1 inch strap if I choose to. So you're going to have your center line here. Then, just like you would normally do, you would fold these edges in to meet the center line, and you see how you would have you don't have that bulk there on those little cutouts right there. And then you would fold it in one more time, just like you would do any strap. So it would get folded in one more time like that. And then you would just sew it as you normally would. And you won't have those raw edges. So if you choose to do your strap like that, I just wanted to show you that. I'm going to just do my strap as I normally do. I may put strap ends on. But anyway, I'm not going to sew my strap just yet. Let's just get into the bag here. So we're going to take our exterior pocket pieces. So you will have one cut from your exterior, your exterior, and one cut from your lining. So I'm using this Ostrich vinyl, and I'm using this waterproof canvas from my exterior pocket. So we're going to take these two pieces and we're going to put them right sides together. Okay, so matching it up. Okay, and we're going to just sew. We're going to sew across this top curve part using a 3/8 inch seam allowance. Okay. Put my bobbin thread up. Okay, so I misspoke. The seam allowance is 1/4 inch. So we're just going to start. So we're going to start right on the end around the curve and back stitching at the beginning and the end. Okay. Okay, so now you should have it stitched here. We're going to take some, you can just put some little notches in it, or you can use pinking shears, and we're just going to trim that down to about 1/8 of an inch. Okay. And then we're going to turn that right side out. Okay. Push those curves out. Okay. And then we'll just clip that down. Okay, so match up all the edges here. Okay. And so now you'll have this piece, and then this is going to go on our, let me grab my front exterior top piece. We're going to top stitch across the top before we place. So this is my front top exterior piece that we're going to place this pocket on. But first, we need to top stitch. So we're going to top stitch around this curved edge at 1/8 of an inch. Okay. So now we have the top. It's top stitched. So now we're ready to attach it to our front exterior top. So we're just going to match up. You should have your midpoints marked. So I have my midpoint marked at the bottom. I have my midpoint marked at the bottom of my pocket here. And I'm just going to clip it in place. And I'm just going to base the pocket on. So I'm going to sew just a 1/8 inch stitch around, just basting it on. In your pocket, you can choose to make your pocket a contrasting vinyl. I just chose to make it the same. Okay, so now it should look like this, and you have a nice little slip pocket there. You could probably fit your phone in there just fine. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab our handles. So let me get my handle pieces together, and then we're going to come back, and I'm going to have both my exterior tops. So I have this one is the same as the front. So we're going to have both our exterior tops and then our handle pieces, and then we'll be back. Alrighty, so I have my handle pieces here. I have 2 cut from the Ostrich croc vinyl, and I have 2 cut from this brown vinyl. So this one is cut. So remember, I'm doing 1/inch handles. So mine are cut a little wider than what's in the pattern. So one is cut, this one, the darker one is cut wider than this one. So whichever vinyls and whichever size handles you use, follow the pattern instructions for the measurements to cut them out. So this is going to be the bottom handle piece, and this is going to be the top handle piece. So I'm just going to take one of each for now. And then you'll also need your 4 D-rings. Again, I'm using 1-inch D-rings, but if you're doing the 3/4 inch handles, you'll need 3/4 inch D-rings. So I'm going to take 2 of those, and we're going to take the bottom piece, and I have the center marked, and I have double-sided tape down the middle, and I'm going to fold the raw edge to that line on both sides. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to put these 2 pieces wrong sides together, and the lighter piece is going to go on top. If one is a little bit longer than the other, you can just trim it down. I could have stretched it, or maybe my cutting wasn't as accurate as I thought. But we're going to use some double-sided tape. I'm going to use a 1/4 inch double-sided tape. To hold these 2 pieces together. Okay. So just put it right down the middle. Okay. And then we're going to pull the backing off. And we're going to center this piece right down the middle. So matching up those centers, the center crease, making sure it's as centered as possible. It should be about 1/8 of an inch on each side. Okay. So just take your time. Okay. So that's what it should look like. I have a little overhang over here, so I'm just going to trim that off. Okay. So now we're going to make a mark here. Now, she says, hold on, let me grab. You can use some masking tape. And we're going to place that 6.5 inches from the end. So there's the 6.5 inches. So I'm going to just, it's a little light to see. So I'm going to use this piece because masking tape will pull off a lot easier. You can even use painter's tape. But we're going to mark, I'm sorry, on this end, the short end here. So the masking tape goes below the 6-inch line. So right where the masking tape ends, right here, that's my 6.5 inch mark. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Okay. Move my rings out of the way for now. Okay, now I'm going to top stitch 1/8 of an inch from the edge of the top handle piece. And I'm going to only do that within the area marked off by the masking tape. I'm going to leave raw ends, long threads, because we're going to pull those through. Don't backstitch. So I'm going to start at one end right at the point where the masking tape is. So again, 1/8 of an inch on the top handle piece. Okay. Have my long threads here, and I'm going to begin top stitching. Okay. Let's make sure it's still straight. And I'm getting close to where the masking tape is over here. So I'm going to stop right before that masking tape. Keep it right there. Okay. And then I'll pull those long threads. Okay. So I'll leave that. Now I'm going to do the other side. Okay, and I'm getting close to the masking tape, so I'm going to get ready to stop. Drop my needle in right before that masking tape. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I've only top stitched this center part of the handle. Okay, you can see on the back there. So now we're going to, I can go ahead and remove the masking tape, and it won't leave any residue on my handle. Okay. Okay. And now I can we can pull these threads. So I'm going to lift this up. I'm going to lift this piece up here. Okay. And then we're going to just bring those threads up right through the inside of the strap here. So I'm just pulling those right through. And we have them there. And we can just, she says twist them, but we can tie those off together, and then they're going to be tucked inside, because this is going to go back down, and then after we tie these threads off, they'll be buried underneath the handle. So you can twist it like she says, or you can just tie it off. I'm just going to tie it off. My handle wants to stay out the way. Okay, I miss it. The handle keeps wanting to pop up out in the way. There we go. So I just tie a little knot there. I'm going to trim it down some. And that's going to be underneath, right underneath there, trapped under this handle there, okay? Just like that. Make sure it doesn't escape. And then I'll lay this right back down. Okay. Make it sure straight. Okay, and we'll do the same thing on this side. So again, I just pull that back, and then these threads here, just get a stiletto or something underneath to just pull those through. Okay. And get those. I'm going to stick it a little bit to this double-sided tape. So then that way it's, I should have thought of that the first time. So it's stuck to the double-sided tape there. And then that way I can just lay it right down. Just like that. Okay, so now we're going to get ready to put our D-rings on. Okay, so you're going to grab 2 of your D-rings. Okay, and slide those on. Okay, very important that you don't forget to put those on. And then your handle's like this. So let me get my exterior piece, and we're going to go ahead and I'm going to go through the next steps on attaching this. We're going to attach it to our front piece first. All right, so I have my front top exterior piece, And I'm going to use, so she has these templates here, a handle placement guide and a double-sided tape placement guide. So I'm going to lay the placement guide for the double-sided tape, and I'm going to line it up right on the end, on the side of my top panel here. And I'm going to place my piece of double-sided tape along that edge on the other side here. And it's going to go the length of this pocket. So just like that. Okay. And then you flip it over and you do the same on the other side. Okay. And now I'm going to take the handle placement guide and I'm going to put my handle in place. So remove the backing from the double-sided tape on one side, and your handle should go right along that edge there, just like that, and lined up at the bottom. And then we'll flip this one over, remove the backing from the double-sided tape. And we'll lay this one down. Okay. So there, so now we have our handle in place. And we're going to make 2 marks before we sew this on. I'm going to make 2 marks here. So 6 3/4 inches up from the bottom, we're going to make a mark for a rivet. So it's going to go right there. And then 3/4 inches up from that mark, we're going to do another for another rivet. Okay. And that's where our D-rings will go, right between those 2 rivet marks. So I'm just getting my marks in place. I'm not going to put the rivets on just yet. Now it's above where we need to sew. So we don't need to worry that we're going to sew up and not be able to attach our D-rings. Okay, so 6 3/4 inches is the first mark. And then 1/4 inch up from that mark is the second mark. Okay. So there, so I have my marks there. Okay. So now, right where we left off, we're going to start in the stitch where we left off. And we're going to top stitch down. And then we're going to go across and then end where we left off on this side. So that our stitches are seamless. So we're just top stitching this on. So I'm going to start here at the bottom. Okay. Do a little back stitch. Let's make sure this is all a little bit straighter. Okay, and we're just going keep your D-ring out of the way for now. And just okay, and now I'm getting to where I left off, and I'm just going to make sure it goes right in that hole where I stopped before, okay? And then I'll leave long threads here to pull to the back, okay? I did back stitch down here, so I can just trim that, okay? Now, I could have just started on this side. Okay, so make sure you get right in that hole where you left off. Okay, so I'm just finding that hole there. There we go. Okay, leave those long tails, and then we'll get it top stitch. Okay. And I don't think I mentioned that this exterior piece is interfaced with Decaville Light. Okay. All right, so I'm going to pull these to the back and tie them off. And then we'll do the same thing on this side. So this time I'm going to start here at the top. Get it in place. There we go. And then we're going to top stitch down. I'm going to go across and then come up. Okay, one more stitch, and I'm dropping it right there. Okay. And then we'll pull those to the back and get those tied off. Okay, so I'm going to get those tied off, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to punch the holes. Again, remember we have our rivets here, our rivet marks here. Just want to, I might have rubbed that one off, but I'll put my marks for my rivets. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to punch those holes. We're punching all the way through. We're going to punch all the way through the exterior panel as well. But the D-ring will be centered right in between, okay? So it's going to be right in. So one rivet will be above and one rivet will be below. So I'll show you when I come back. And then I use those placement guides to place our handles on the back piece. We're going to do that the same way. So when I come back, I'm going to have the handle on the back piece, and then I'll have the D-rings and rivets set in place, and then we'll be back to do the base. All right, I came back with both exterior tops done. So I've added my rivets, and my D-rings are right there centered in the middle. I went ahead, I opened this seam up, this little basting stitch up, and I added a label because I wanted to add a little label there. So I did that. It's not going all the way through the lining. It's just right on the exterior. So if you want to put a label on your front pocket, just do that before you base the bottom close on your pocket. What else? So that's it. That's what I've done. Okay, so now I have my base piece, the bottom piece. I decided to use Decaville Heavy on my base. The instructions, we need to mark the midpoints on the short side, and then we're going to mark a line 1 inch on each side of that midpoint line, midpoint. So I've already done that. I already marked my lines here. So now we're just going to go ahead and we're going to sew these on to our exterior tops. So we're going to use a 3/8 inch seam allowance. So I'm just going to take the front piece and I'm going to line this up with my base here and get it clipped on. And those lines that we drew, they're going to come into play once we get these on. Okay, so my vinyl's, it is not that it's super thick, but it's real cushiony because it has this little fleecy type backing, so it could get a little thick. So keep that in mind. Whatever materials you choose, the machine that you're using, you don't want yours to be too thick. So I'm going to go ahead and sew this up at 3/8 inch. Okay. And because I have these thick pieces here, I'm just going to do another row of stitching right within the seam allowance, right next to the stitches I just did, just for a little extra reinforcement. Okay. So I just ran another row of stitching there. So now we're just going to turn this out. The seam allowance naturally wants to go toward the base, and that's what we want. And we're going to top stitch 1/8 inch from that seam. And since I'm using this contrasting thread, boy, I better make sure I don't do anything goofy. And I'm going to just take a couple of back stitches and just take my time. And it's a little thick right there, like I said. So I'm just going to put a little piece of vinyl just to make sure my stitches stay nice and even as I go over the handles. Okay. I'm getting to the other handle. Okay, so now that I have that stitched, now I'm going to take the back and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to get that. So right sides together and lining up this edge. I'm going to sew that on at 3/8. And just like before, I'm going to do another row of stitches. Okay, and now we're going to turn that over. And again, it goes, the seam allowance goes towards the back, and we're going to top stitch. Don't those colors look good together?
Yeah.
It looks like my favorite cup of coffee.
There she go.
Ooh, that sounds so good. A cup of coffee. An iced coffee, huh, Jazz?
I'll make you one.
You make me one. Ah, she's good. Everybody should have a Jazzy when they're sewing. Can I rent you out, Jazzy?
Do I get paid? No, I only do it for free for you.
She don't do it for free for me either.
She figured.
Okay. All right, so now that's top stitch and looking beautiful. Oh, that's looking so good. Get all my stuff over here out the way. So look at, that's looking really nice. All right, so now here we have these lines here that we have in the back, right? What did we draw those for? So we're going to score these lines. So what that means is we're just going to take, so I'm going to take some blunt. So these are my paper scissors. So they're kind of round and blunt, okay? Because we want to get this nice and crease, this line here where we have. So we're just going to run the scissors along that line, okay? So we don't want to cut into it. So we're just scoring this so that we get a nice crease. And then you'll see on the back, see where the vinyl is? You see how we have that nice edge? So that's all we're doing. So don't press so hard that you're going to cut through, but we're just giving it a nice little edge. Okay, just like that. So, and then on that, so you see how easy that is, and you get that nice little crease there. And we'll do the same thing on the other. So just run your scissors. Which side did I use? So right on that, and just get a good grip here. Okay, and just stay right on that line, and we just scoring that edge just like that. Like I said, doesn't take a whole lot. Doesn't take a whole lot of pressure. So that gives us our nice base there. See that? See how it gives us that nice base, because now we have this. It's a good way to crease your vinyl or whatever material you're using like that. So you get that nice, oh, that's already looking so cute. So now we have that scored. So now we're going to get ready to turn this wrong side out. And this is where we're going to, I'm sorry, let me get it together. Get it together, girl. Get it together. Okay, we're going to start clipping the sides together. Okay. Let me make sure I'm doing this right. So this, the center. So we're going to pleat right where we drew the 1 inch line. We're going to bring that together like that. And that center should come right up in the middle like that. So you see how we have a fold right there in the middle like that? So just bring that 1 inch line, fold at the 1 inch line, and we're going to bring that together again like that, and making sure that that little fold is even with the side seam. So I'm just going to bring that up just like that. So you see, we have that right there like that. And we're going to clip that. And she says you can staple it to keep it in place if you want. Just making sure, I'm going to make sure that my sides are all matched up. Okay. Making sure. Just like that. So it's going to look like that. Little awkward at first, but it's going to look nice. Trust me. Okay. So let me just make sure that that's all in place there. Okay. So now we're going to sew that down. We're going to sew down. Follow the shape of the bag on the side. We're going to sew at 3/8 of an inch. And we'll do the same. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So 3/8. Keep everything lined up nice. Keep those seams straight. Okay. And there we go. And I'm going to run another row of stitching right within the seam allowance. Okay. Okay, and then we're going to trim. We're going to trim down just right here. Not down here, 1 inch. We're going to leave that 1 inch the same up at the top and the bottom. We're just going to trim some of this out right here. Okay. Just like that. Okay. I'm just going to flip this around real quick and see if we can see what that's looking like before we do the other side. Because I want y'all to see. Let me see if I can do this. Because Jazzy just brought me an iced coffee too. Hold on a second. Let's see. Let's see how that's looking. And like I said, I did use Decaville Heavy for my stabilizer, so don't want it to get. And then where I scored, I can see where I scored it, and let's see how that's looking. I want to make sure that's gonna look nice and neat, not too crazy. All right, you just have to trust the process. I was pushing it out wrong. So now that I have it pushed out right, it looks great. It looks great on the side. So, and Jazzy brought me my iced coffee. So, okay. So, enough. Okay, I won't play around with this anymore. So, let me go ahead. I'm going to get this turned back out. And then I'm going to sew up the other side. And then we can get ready to start the lining next. So, and maybe I shouldn't have used Decaville Heavy. Maybe I should have used Decaville Light. I believe the pattern says Decaville Light. But I was afraid because my vinyl's kind of thin that I thought maybe my base would look too flimsy. So, but we'll see. I'm pulling it loose now, but I'll get it back together. But let me, but yeah, because I think it's too thick for that. It might be a little too thick. So use Decaville Light. But anyway, so I'll be back. Let me go ahead and sew up this other side and I'll be back. Y'all look how cute it's looking already. Oh my goodness. That looks so cute. And the little detail on the sides is so cute. Anyway, but one thing I didn't do was I did not talk about the rivets that you can place here on the bottom. I decided I wasn't going to do it and I just, so I forgot about it. But here is what you would do. So before you sew your base on, you could take this rivet guide and you're going to line it up with the top of your base like that. And then you're going to mark the rivet placement onto your base and install your rivets. And then you can go ahead and attach it. So you would do that on on both sides if you want to have rivets on both sides, or if you just want to have rivets on the front. It's your choice. So at first I thought I would do it, and then I said, well, I'm just going to leave it like that. So but anyway, I did want to go over that in case there's anybody out there who would like to put the rivets. So now we're going to move on to the slip pocket. So I'm going to set that aside. I have my slip pocket piece and I've marked 3/4 inch line on both of the long sides of my slip pocket piece. And I put some double-sided tape because we're going to fold these raw edges to meet that line. Okay, so we're getting rid of the raw edges on the sides here. Okay. Now, I am going to do my slip pockets slightly different. So if you want to follow exactly the pattern, just go ahead and follow the pattern. She does not use a slip pocket trim. I've decided I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to put a trim on mine instead. So I've cut a little piece of my vinyl 1 inch wide, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add that as a trim on mine because I just like the way that looks. So if you want to do it this way, I just cut it a little longer. I'm going to trim the extra off, but I'm just going to base this. I'm going to base this closed. So I'm matching up the sides here. And I'm just going to just base this closed right across the top. And again, this is not the way she does it in the pattern. It's just, but I always feel like with things like the pockets, and I mean, you can kind of do it your own way. You're going to get similar or same results. It's just all in what you prefer your bag to look like. Doesn't take anything away from the design of the bag, because that's what we're drawn to, the design of the bag. But pockets, things like that, that's, you know, preference. Whether you want pockets or not, and how you want your pockets to look. That's all of your own preference there. Okay. That's why we make bags, because we want to make them the way we like them, right? Okay, so I'm going to take this backing off the double-sided tape on one side, and I'm just going to center this on. Doesn't have to be perfect because, like I said, I'm going to trim the excess off. And then I'll fold the other side over. First, I like to do the ends, make sure they're even. And then I get my ruler and I just line that up together. And then I give me a nice straight edge here. Okay, so just like that. And then I'm just going to top stitch 1/8 of an inch. Okay. I'm gonna get my scissors and just trim this excess off. So it's right up against the end. Just like that. Okay. And then I'll just burn these little ends of the threads so they don't come loose. Okay. And now I'm ready to sew my slip pocket onto my lining main panel, which I have here. Okay. It's already, I have the centers marked at the top. I have the center, and I know the placement where it's going to be. So I'm just going to place my ruler there, get it so I can center it on. Okay. And I have the, okay, right there. Okay. And then I'll get a little crease in here to find the center. And then I'll get ready to sew. Okay. So that's the center, and it's going to go on just like that. And now I'm just going to just sew around the sides to put my pocket up. Okay. Okay, so now I have my slip pocket on. I'm going to put a couple of rivets, one on each corner, and put some Peltex stabilizer on the back. And then next we're going to do the zipper pocket with with overlay. So I'm going to grab those pieces, get my rivets on, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now we're going to do the zipper pocket with overlay. So you should have your zipper pocket piece. I'm using waterproof canvas, so I have no interfacing. But if you're using cotton, you should have it interfaced with a woven interfacing. I have my main lining piece, and I have my overlay. Love the shape of this overlay, and it's interfaced with Decaville Light. And I have double-sided tape on the back because we're going to be placing this on our lining. And I have a piece of zipper tape, and I have my zipper pull. So she gives you very, very detailed instructions on installing this zipper. If you've never done a zipper with overlay, I advise you to really read and follow her instructions because you'll get a very nice zipper overlay. So I'm not doing it exactly as she has it, but like I said before with the pockets, it's going to give me the same results. It's just that I've been doing them for a while, so everybody kind of has their preference. So I'm just marking out where we're going to put the overlay. The measurements for that are in the pattern, and I'm giving my overlay just a small little crease here at the top, so I know where it's centered. And I'm going to peel the backing off the double-sided tape, and I'm going to get that centered in place. Maybe not. Let's try that. Am I in the center there? Yes. Okay, that just wasn't looking too centered to me. So let's make sure. This is about 1 3/8. So I want to make sure that they line up about the same. Let me mark the center again because evidently I didn't do a good job the first time. Let me make sure everything is centered there. Okay, there we go. Now let's try that. All right, now that looks better. Okay, now I'm going to take the rest of the backing off the double-sided tape and press the rest down. Make sure everything is lined up straight and even. Okay. So now once you have your overlay in place, then we're going to top stitch around the perimeter. So the outside, we're going to go ahead and top stitch. So you can move this out of the way. And we're going to leave long tails to pull to the back. And we're just following the outside here of the overlay. Tighten and stitch this a little bit there. I'm going to pull the tail to the back. Okay, so now I have that in place. Pull the other thread to the back as soon as I find it. And I guess it doesn't want to pull through. Okay, so now what's going on with your stubborn thread here? Look like it's stuck on the other thread. Did I get it? Yeah, I got it. There we go. Little stubborn thread didn't want to come through. Okay, so now we get this tied off. Okay, make sure it doesn't come loose. Now we're going to cut out this fabric here from within the zipper window. So just give it a little snip in the middle, and then we're just going to cut that out. Okay. Be careful not to cut your overlay, because then you'll be crying and upset, and you know, that's never good. And now your project has to go in the naughty corner for the rest of the day.
What's the naughty corner?
Naughty corner.
Mom, do you have any projects in the naughty
corner? I have lots of projects in the naughty corner.
Yeah, I think I see them.
You know, and the more I think about it, I go, really, it's not the project's fault. It's like maybe I should be in the naughty corner.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, maybe so. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to set that aside. And I'm just going to go ahead and get my zipper onto my lining. So I'm going to lay my zipper down, wrong side down against the right side of my lining piece. So right up at the top edge. And I'm going to sew that on at 1/4 inch seam allowance. Okay. You can use double-sided tape to hold it down, or you can use clips. You know, or you can just go for what you know. Just keep it straight. Unlike me right now. Totally not straight. Okay. And then I like to just push the seam allowance down toward the lining and top stitch. Okay, and now I'm going to bring the zipper up to the other side. And again, wrong side touching the right side of the lining. And I'm going to line up the sides. And I will clip this time just to make sure it stays straight. Okay, and we're going to sew that side up. Normally, I cut my zipper pocket pieces in two. I cut them, you know, but I don't usually use one piece. But I did want to show you that this is the pattern piece. It's not in two pieces. Okay. Alrighty. So now we can leave that like that. We can open it up and top stitch the other side if we want to. But when I do it this way with one pocket piece, I usually don't top stitch the other side because you'll see in a second. First let me put my double-sided tape on. I like to do it before I put the pull on. Because while it's nice and flat. So I'm going to put some double-sided tape on, keeping it away from the sides because we're going to sew up those sides. And if we don't have to sew through any double-sided tape, then it's good. Okay. Now we're going to put our zipper pull on. After I burn these, let's burn this down just a little. I know I'm trying to set a fire over here, huh?
Gotta keep you in control over there.
Oh, that little pyromania up in here. Okay, so we have our zipper pull on, and now we're just going to go ahead. That was the craziest thing. I had a defective zipper pull. It just wasn't going to work. And then I put this one and it went right on. Okay. So now we're just going to line up our window over the zipper. Make sure your pull is going in whichever direction you prefer it to go in. Mine is closing to the left. And then we're going to center it in the window and get that secured with our double-sided tape. So I'm just getting it right there. Get pressed in place. And then the same over here. Okay. Okay, so then once that looks good to you, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to top stitch around the zipper window. So our pocket is going down to the bottom. So we're going to start on the sides, go about 1/8 of an inch. So we're going to mark, so about 1/8 of an inch past the window. I'm going to put a little dot there. So 1/8, and then we're going to come up and then go 1/8 of an inch past the window here. We're going to sew across and come down, leaving long tails here and here. And then we're going to flip the pocket up and then we'll stitch the bottom. Okay, so that way we're not going to close our pocket up. If we try to go all the way around, we're going to close our pocket up. So we're going to start here. Okay. Zipper pull out of the way. And I have left my zipper overlay. I've left the raw edges bare. I did not edge coat them. But if you're planning on doing that, you should do that right at the beginning. Okay, so we're going to stop there. And then we'll pull our long tails out so we can secure them to the back. Okay, so it should be looking like this now. We should have our stitches coming up the sides and across the top. And then we'll get these tied off. This is why I usually cut my zipper pockets in 2 pieces, because then I can just leave it open and sew around the window, because I'm so lazy about doing it in 2 steps. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to, oh, I left a little piece. Well, I'm just going to trim that. Just left a little piece behind. Okay, so now we're going to bring our zipper pocket up. Okay, bring it up. And make sure it's not going to be in the way of our stitches. Okay, and now we're going to just sew this bottom. Keep it up out of the way. We're going to start and stop where we left off. Okay. Again, leave long tails to pull to the back. Get your zipper pull out of the way. Okay. Now we can pull those to the back. As I was saying, Rosemary gives really good instructions for the zipper pocket. So you can follow those. It's always good to have different options. Okay, so now we're going to bring our zipper pocket back down in place. Make sure our pocket is open and functional. Okay. Now we're going to pull the sides back and we're going to sew up the sides. Okay, so a 1/4 inch, about a 1/4 inch. Sew up the sides there. Okay, phone is buzzing. So I'm going to sew up the sides. That's why we didn't put the double-sided tape all the way to the ends. And we do one side. And then we'll do the other side. So just pull this side back. Yep, either I broke my bobbin or I ran out of bobbin, one or the other. Probably broke it. I broke it. Okay, so let's try that again. And now we can trim off this extra zipper tape here. Okay, and I'll just kind of burn those ends. Okay. And now we have our zipper pocket with overlay. And that's all done. There we go. Looks nice to me. I mean, that just looks so nice. I love that shape. Okay, so now we're going to grab I'm going to get our lining tops and our magnetic snap. We're going to get ready to start putting our lining together. And this is a drop-in, so we're going to have to get both our lining and our exteriors prepared for a drop-in lining. So I'll be back in just a second. Okay, so I have my lining tops. Okay, so they're cut from my vinyl here, and I've marked where I'm going to put my magnetic snap. And you see they're interfaced with Decaville Light. So we're just going to start with one here. Take our lining piece, and we're going to match this up along the top, and we're going to sew it on at 3/8 of an inch. Okay, and then we're going to, let me just double check. Does she say to top stitch through the lining? No, through the top panel. So we're going to bring the seam allowance up toward the top panel and we're going to top stitch. But first I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sew the other one on. Now we can top stitch. So bring that up towards the top lining. Wait, I'm gonna go this way. Okay. And give it a top stitch here. Okay, so now we have that top stitch. We'll do the other side. We're getting so close to putting this together. Such a cute bag. Okay, there we go. Now we can get our magnetic snap. Get that. So I'm going to grab my snap here. So I have my magnetic snap. I'm going to cut a couple pieces of Peltex. Okay. I didn't grab any washer. I don't know if these came with a washer or not. But I'll use the Peltex. Okay. Some come with washers and some don't. So I have my magnetic snap. Now I'm just going to, I'll use the prongs to mark where I'm going to put my slits here. Okay. And we're going to put the male on the slit pocket side, and we're going to put the female on the zipper pocket side. Okay, so I'm just using the prongs. Get my placement here for my slits. And I'll do the same on this Peltex. Just give me a little. And then I'm going to put some duct tape on the back. Okay. So what did I say? Female on the zipper side, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just checking to see if you're paying attention, Jassy. You know, sometimes you stop paying attention to me. You know, just have to check. Okay. Get that on. Let me get this Peltex on. And then I'm going to fold the prongs out to, well, I'll put them to the center. Put them nice and secure there. Okay, so I have that one on. And now I just need to put the other on. I think I cut these slits big enough. I try to be careful not to cut them too big. Okay. Y'all, Jazzy's wrapping up her 11th grade year. She's going to be a senior next year.
Yeah.
She ending up with what? What you got? 4.75?
Yep.
5.0, something like that?
Yeah.
5.0?
Almost.
Almost a 5.0 grade point average. So she's smart. She's smart. I'm proud of her.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just putting some duct tape on here. That girl's going places. I'm blessed with some smart kids.
Some, not all.
Not all.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Okay, so just making sure it's all lined up properly, and it is. Okay, so now we're going to take our ruler and we're going to mark 1 inch. So right here at the bottom, we're going to mark 1 inch up from the bottom. So just on each side. Okay, on this one. And we'll do the same thing over here. So just 1 inch and 1 inch. Okay. So we just marked 1 inch up from the bottom on both sides. Now we're going to clip the bottom and we're going to sew that at 1/4 inch. So this gets sewn at 1/4 inch seam allowance. Okay. I think I just broke my bobbin thread again. My machine never really likes anything but a Mon thread. And whenever I use something other than that, it's just like, no, it gets so crazy. So it just doesn't, it's like, does not like other threads. I try to make it like them, but it discriminates. Okay, so now I have my bobbin back in. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to do just like we did on the exterior. We're going to pinch at these 1 inch marks. So pinch those 1 inch marks that we made, and we're going to bring that up together. So we're making that same type of bottom like we did on the exterior. So match those 1 inch marks up like that. And our lining should be folded into the middle here, just like we did on our exterior. And we're going to clip that in place. I don't know why the dog's so upset. He's upset at somebody, but he keeps barking. Okay, so now we're going to clip these together, clip the sides together, and we're going to sew this down 3/8 of an inch. Okay. And we're going to follow, so this is not just a straight line. It kind of curves in a little. So make sure you follow the contours of the lining as you sew it together, because that really is what makes the lining sit nicely into the bag. All right, I had to get my thread situation straight. So hopefully it won't give me any more problems. Okay, so I'm just going around, sewing down the sides, making sure that I keep that fold at the bottom. Okay. Okay. Okay, so now we should have it like that. And we're going to do the same thing over here. So pinch at those 1 inch marks. And bring them together. So keep that straight. And that one straight. And keep that together. And give it a clip. And we'll do the same thing over here. We're lining up our seams over here. And we're going to sew that down. Okay, there we go. And if you want, you can trim that down a little in the center here, just like we did the exterior, but not all the way to the top. Leave that because we have to fold that down for our drop in. Don't want to trim it down. Okay, so now we have our lining. That's looking good. Okay, so now we're going to start preparing our exterior and our lining to drop in. So it's going to, our raw edges up across here are going to get folded down at 3/8 of an inch. Okay, so we're going to have to put some snips along these curves to get them to fold down properly. So she says put about 3 snips, about 1/4 inch in each corner. Okay, so we can fold those down. I'm going to do that. We're going to do the same thing on the exterior. And you can use some glue or you can use some double-sided tape. And we're going to get that folded down. So I'm going to use some double-sided tape. I'm going to open up the seams on the sides here. So the seams on the side get opened up. I'm going to use some double-sided tape. And I'm going to start folding these edges. And then we also need to snip in these curves here. So we need to put some snips there so that it will... So it will fold up down easily around the curves. Okay. So let me get my snips in here. Okay. And I'm going to grab my double-sided tape that I just had. I just set it down. What did I do with it? What did I do with it, Jazzy? What did I do with my double-sided tape? Alrighty, I found my double-sided tape. Okay, so I'm going to start taping. I just add some tape right. I'm just adding tape right around the edge here. Going around the curves. Yeah. And like I said, if you prefer, you can use glue. I just think that the double-sided tape is a lot less messy and no fumes. Okay. Well, some fumes if you just opened it, but this one, sometimes when you first open this double-sided tape, it's so strong. Okay, so once I get it all the way around, okay, we'll hold that down and get this all connected. So once I reach the other side, so now, okay, so we just really need to take our time here on this part and really, so I'm gonna start folding it and then working in these curves. So with those snips, okay, so, and you can mark 3/4 inches down from this edge to make sure that you stay consistent with your 3/8 inch seam allowance here. Okay, and we're going to start folding this down to get around these curves. I'm going to do this straight edge first. Okay, so when we leave, so when we do these straight edges, so let's get our straight edges. My Decaville light is just at the 3/8, so I know I can, if I fold there, that's about a 3/8 inch seam allowance. Okay, so and then I'll get my sides folded down right at the seam here on the side, making sure, and I just put a little clip there. Okay, so now this is the part we have to work in and ease in. So I'm just going to use my stiletto and I'm just going to start easing it around the curve here. My magnetic snap wants to keep snapping, so I'm going to open this up and I'm just going to start easing it in around here, around the curve, keeping that 3/8. Okay, and that's what those snips were for. Okay. Okay, and so it gets smooth like this, and then these little points here, I can just trim them off. I could just trim those down so it's not bulky here, just like that. Okay, so now you see it's smoothing out there. So again, I'm going to do this. I'm opening this up here. Okay, just going to open that up, and I'm just kind of pushing it over, just like this, coming around this side and easing it into the middle. And those snips we put in place will help it to ease in. Make sure this goes over as well. Okay. Okay. And again, I could just snip off any little bulk if I have to. So you see how smooth your corners get there. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to just keep doing that. I'm going to do it with the exterior as well. And then when I have all my raw edges all folded down and ready for the drop in, I'll come right back and we can get her dropped in. Okay, I have my raw edges folded down. Okay, and I have some clips in there trying to hold everything in place where we get ready to drop this in. So I'm going to put the zipper to the back. So the zipper side is going to the back. I'm just going to get that in there. It should fit nice and snug. Okay, and then we're just going to start matching up. So I'm going to start matching up these sides. Okay, and I'm going to have to start removing these clips and getting everything matched up. So if anything starts popping loose, I just have to try to get it back together, because we really have to start on these side seams here and getting those matched up. That's important. So I'm going to clip there once I get that on. Okay, and then start matching up the curves. Making sure everything is staying where it should stay, where it should be. Okay, so I mean, this is not like, I mean, you have to really take your time here if you want to get it nice. So don't rush it. Okay, just matching up the curves the best we can. And if it looks like it's a little off, then you can go ahead and you can adjust it. So I just keep my stiletto handy, and I'm just kind of making sure that that the lining and the exterior are matched up. Let me put a clip there to hold it in place. Okay. Once you get the sides matched up, then the rest is pretty simple. It's just straight. Okay. Okay, so I got that, and just make sure it stays centered. You want to make sure your magnetic snap is in the center. Okay, so now I'm going to go. So now I have this side. So I have this side clipped. I'm going to go over here to this side, and I'm going to start clipping this side. So again, I'm just going to start removing some of the clips that I already have in place. Make sure that you're able to see the top when I move it up, Jazzy, because you know how I tend to go out of the camera range. Okay, so I'm just, I know you can't, it's hard to see here, but I'm just clipping, just trying to match it up and clipping these curves that want to start coming loose here. So just get it all matched up. I'll just keep that in place there. I work better from this side here. And just push that back down and matching it up. Okay. Okay, so now we have just about the front clipped. Then we just need to do the back. Just make sure it goes together. We need lots of clips here. Okay, so I have the front. The front is clipped. Now I just need to do the back, and then we can start top stitching. Okay. And it fits together nicely. Alrighty, so that's just about it. All the curves are clipped. Just take our time and get it and go around. Okay. And just push that lining in good. I want you to see how well it fits. It's nicely there. Okay, I'll get my little creases out later. Okay, so now I am going to be top stitching from the inside. So make sure if you're doing it this way, I mean, if you have a cylinder arm, it's no problem, but I don't. But just make sure you keep your handles out of the way. I'm going to find a spot. I'm going to leave long tails and feed them through the seam when I'm done. So let's get ready to do this. Instead of my stiletto, I'm going to have my little pliers here because they're rounded, they're not pointed, and I will not stick a hole in my vinyl. I've done that before with my stiletto. Okay, so let's keep everything lined up. Okay, so we just take a deep breath and get ready to go. Okay, keep everything lined up good. Okay. All right, change my stitch lift back, and then we'll go. And just take it nice and slow. Especially when you go around these curves, just go one stitch at a time. Just take your time. Do not rush it. It's pretty tight, so you want to just adjust as you go and go really slow. I'm just going to adjust it around the curve. Uh-oh. If I lose a clip, that's okay.
And she did that on purpose, and she could throw that.
You know, it's just pretty tight, so I have to just, kind of squeeze it down. Get it in place. Keep my handles back out of the way. Okay. Don't be afraid to work your bag, but keep those, I'm going to keep repeating, keep those handles out of the way, because it keeps wanting to creep in there. Okay. So now going around. Okay, getting over by my other handle. Want to make sure I keep it out of the way. Okay. Oops. Okay. Keep everything lined up the best you can. Okay. So just rolling it down and out of the way here. Okay. I'm just using my pliers to keep everything in place as I go around the curves. Getting close, getting close. Just go around one more turn here. It's a lot of curves, a lot of twists and turns. Okay, so just keep it as straight as you can. Okay. Keep those handles out of the way. Getting back to where I started. Woo! Always breathing when I... Alrighty. And I think I kind of got off a little bit right there, right at the end. But that's okay. I can fix it. I did. It slipped right at the end and I missed just maybe 1 or 2 stitches right there at the end. Okay. but everything else looks pretty good. Okay, right here in the front too. It slid down just a little right there in the front, and I'm going to have to fix that. And then there's like 2 stitches back here in the back. But everything else looks good. Everything else is looking pretty good. And so if that's all I have to fix, I'm okay with that. So just, if you can see right here right here, it just went right off right there. So what I would say is maybe just put some double-sided tape to hold it in place so it's not slipping. You know, it's no big deal. I can fix that easily. Now all I need to do is do my strap. But I love this bag. It's so cute. That is so cute. It is so adorable. And I do believe my phone fits right in there. Look at that. Look at that. So that's so perfect when you're out and you just need to look, you know, to grab your phone real quick. And, you know, I really like this. So let me go ahead, clean up my little boo-boos, and then I will be back with the strap, the crossbody strap attached so you can see all that. Okay, so I am all done with my Destiny bag. I've sewn up my crossbody strap, and all I have to do now is just clip it on. So you can clip it on right here with these D-rings. So I put one on this side, and then I'll cross it over and put one on the back side. And you'll be able to wear it as a crossbody. I love it. I love the style. It looks so good. And so anyway, again, this is the Destiny bag by Really Creative by Rosemary. The pattern link will be in the description. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. I really do appreciate all the support for my channel, and I thank you all for tuning in to Sewful Creations one more time.